Jennifer's Farm and Craft. So we're going to be canning some beans today. It's winter time and I want to get all of my chili beans ready. I'm probably going to do just a couple regular beans with some bacon in it for some side dishes. But for the most part, I'm going to be doing chili beans. So some of the things that you're going to need is ball jars, and I'm only going to use pint-sized ball jars because I am not a big bean person. Green beans, I could eat those all day, but as far as any other kind of bean, yeah, no. So anyway, I am doing pint jars, so that way that's what it's a normal size can that you can get at a grocery store. That's what I put in our chili, or sometimes I will just do half and then I'll use the beans for something else, so I can better use up what I've got. So I bought a package of pinto beans here, and I go to an Amish store and I can buy it in bulk. They have a small bag, a medium size, and a large bag. I just buy the medium size. It's just about the same as going to the store, but I go there and I buy my flour there in bulk, and I buy about anywhere from 10 to 20 to 30 pounds worth of flour. I just like their flour better, and I get a better deal by buying it in bulk there instead of having to go buy it online also. So I bought my beans dry. So we are going to do a dry method. A few other things that you're going to need is I have canned some tomato sauce, so you will need to pick up some tomato sauce, maybe like a 16 or 20 ounce can of tomato sauce, depending on how many jars that you want to do. So we'll kind of see how far we get with these. You're also going to need some salt. Now you can't use table salt. You can use sea salt, pink Himalayan salt, but I'm just using my pickling salt since I still have some left. You're also going to need cumin, paprika, garlic powder, onion powder, and then some boiling water, which I have this right here. It's starting to boil now. We will add that at the end. But you want to make sure that your beans are fully rinsed off. This go round, I only had one little teeny tiny piece of corn in there. Sometimes you can get rocks. They're dusty, they're dirty, so make sure that you rinse them very well. So that's what I've done, is it filled up my whole entire strainer, so we'll see how far we get. Okay, so what we're going to do, now if you're doing a pint jar, you only want half a cup. If you're doing a quart jar, you want to do a whole cup of beans. But the beans are going to swell, so that's why we only put a half a cup or a whole cup in the bigger jars. So that's just what I'm going to do now. And it can be a little overheating if it wants to be. We'll just see what we get here. You know, when I was little, my parents loved beans, and beans were in everything, and I just never, I don't know if it was the texture or like the mushy gushiness in a bean, but that is just, I don't mind eating them in chili. But just eating a bean soup, you count me out. My husband's grandparents, they make it, and then they bring me some for my husband, so I'll either can it or I'll freezer bag it, and then when he's ready to eat some, or we eat something that he doesn't like, he doesn't like a whole lot of pastas, like chicken alfredos and fettuccines and stuff like that he'll eat, but tomato based stuff, sauces, he's just not big on. So if we have it more than once a week, I'll usually pull out the bean soup out of the freezer, so that way he can eat that. Alright, looks like this is going to be our last one. Alright, so we have 3, 6, 9, 12, 13 jars of beans. Woohoo! Okay, so So our next step is we are going to take our tomato sauce and we're going to add 1/4 cup in each jar. Okay? Oh, there it is. Looking for my little can opener. And goofy me, I canned tomato sauce last night, and I could have saved my rings and just put it in the fridge and did it that way, but I did not do it that way, and I'm kind of really upset with myself that I did that. Okay, well, I'm just going to fill up half a cup because that's what 1/4 cup is, and I guess I need that back. Okay, so I'm going to arrow this down here so you guys can see, and I've got my little, 1 second. There we go. I got this new camera holder and I'm still learning how to use it because I had one that was like a selfie stick but had like the prongs out, so I really like that one, and I kind of broke it. So yeah, now I have a new one and it is not like the other one, so I'm still adjusting to it. Okay, so we're going to do 1/4 cup of tomato sauce in each jar. Now I'm actually going to show you 2 different ways to can this. Now if you only want to do a couple at a time, like say you just want to do a month's worth of different types of beans, or say your pressure cooker is filled and you have like 3 or 4 pint jars left and you want to get those done, I'm going to show you how to use a power cooker. It's pretty much like a crock pot, but it pressure cans. So that is one neat thing that I really like, because there's been times where I haven't been able to fit everything in either my in my pressure canner. So that kind of works out because it actually does it in half the time too. So if you only want to do a couple of them, then you might invest in getting a power cooker, only because you can use it for so many things. It's like a little crock pot, number one, and then you can also can almost anything you want in there. Okay, I'm actually going to just dribble this in, a couple of them, because I don't want to waste it. Okay, let's put those back there. Actually, we're going to put them in the sink so we don't get them all over the counter. Okay, so now we have our, alright, we are all done with this stuff, so it'll go into the sink. Our water is at a boil, so I'm just going to let that boil for a few more minutes. Okay, so the next thing is we're going to add salt to every one of these. I need a teaspoon. You know, I thought I had everything ready. I tried to make sure everything's ready so I don't make these videos too long. Okay. Actually, we're going to add a half, not a whole, because a whole teaspoon is for, oh, yes. So, whatever I add for a pint jar, you're going to add double for a quart jar. Okay? So, we're going to do half a teaspoon in each of these. Now, if you don't like a whole lot of salt, you might go down to like a 1/4 or an 1/8 a teaspoon, but my family likes salt. So we're going to go ahead and add it. Okay, there's for that. There's the salt. Now we're going to add in some cumin. We're going to add in a half a teaspoon of cumin also. have to get me some more cumin. I'm almost out. Woo. Just stretch this out a little bit. Woo, we made it. Thank goodness. I don't have any more. Okay, next we're going to use some smoked paprika. Now, if you have paprika on hand, you're more than welcome to use that too. And we're going to keep using the half a teaspoon. This makes such pretty colors in the jar. So I'm going to have to kind of there's that one. Then we're going to use some garlic. Yes, garlic powder. Let me take this top off. Alright, this one gets, that one actually gets less. I don't need this one. I need the chili powder. Chili powder we're going to do half a teaspoon also. Now if you want it a little bit more spicy, you might add a whole teaspoon in there. Just depends on your level of spice. If you want to give it a little extra kick in there, I would recommend using some cayenne pepper. I've added cayenne pepper into my taco seasoning, and it has tasted really good because some spice I can't handle, and I was kind of worried about it, but after we did it in our tacos, it tasted really, really good. So, you know, it's up to you, your level of spice that you want to use. Okay, I am out of onion powder, so I'm going to use some chopped onion. It's all the same to me. This one, and we're just going to keep doing halves. Half teaspoons, I guess I should say. But if you like onion, then add a whole teaspoon. This is really how you want to make your own. If you want to add more of a spice rather than to another one, then I would suggest doing it, because this is your taste buds, it's your family. Not everybody's the same. I usually like a little bit more onion, but we're just gonna keep rolling with this. So the only other thing that's different is the garlic powder, and I'm only going to use, when I can find it here, I'm only going to use 1/8 of a teaspoon of garlic powder. I don't want it too potent in there. Okay. I think I've added everything. Yeah. Alright, now all we got to do is add our boiling water. Put those back there. Okay. I guess I do need my little thingy back, don't I? Okay, there's that. And we need a ladle. Okay. Now I'm just going to fill this up in the jar. Now I want to give it 1 inch of headspace, so right here on this line is 1 inch, so that's all I'm going to fill it up to, because I want to give it a little bit of room in case those beans get a little too high. It smells like baked or chili beans already with all the spices that I can smell when I put in the hot water. It smells really, really good. You know, you can also do this with really any kind of bean that you like, and I'm just doing it with the pinto beans. I like the pinto beans only because they're small. I don't like big bulky beans. That one, I think I'm going to have to brew up some more hot water here. I'm going to run out. I was kind of wondering about that, on which size pot to use, but I had this one clean because we had, speak of it, we had chili last night, so I have my pot soaking, and we canned also, so my big giant one is clean, but I didn't think I needed a big giant one. So yeah. Guess I should have got out the big giant one. We would have had enough. Looks like I probably have enough to do one more. Take that out before I like smack myself with it or something. Okay, well, I gotta boil some more water. So I'm going to finish filling these up. We're gonna wipe all the rims of the jars off, and we're gonna get our lids and our rings on. So I will bring you back when I have all that done. All right, we're down to the last one, getting wiped off, and the lid and the ring on. So we will see how many of these we can get into our pressure canner. So I'm going to pop those in there, and I will bring you back when I get them all in there. We do have to add a couple inches of water in there. I put about 2 to 3 inches at the bottom of my pressure canner. I can show you what that looks like real quick. It's so hard to see in it. Might not give us much more light, but it's just about this much. This is what I have put in there. So I will get all of that in there. My stupid thing is not working. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to fill the pressure canner. The power cooker is still doing all the little lines across the thing, so it's still getting up to temperature. So I'm going to get these in there so we can get the stove on and get that up to temperature, and wait for some steam to start popping up. So hang on one second, okay, and well, here we are, folks. I got them all in there. They are double stacked. So I am going to park this right over here so you can kind of see what I'm doing. Get a little bit closer. I hope I hear the power cooker. It's coming up to temp. Can you hear that? Oh, it sounds so cool. It's going to release a little bit of steam, but that kind of lets you know it's coming up to temp. Okay, let me flip this guy out here so I can see what I'm doing. Alright, so we're going to put our lid on, and once we get this locked on, we're going to wait till we have steam come out of this little guy here. And when the steam comes out at a consistency base, we're going to take our little weight here and we're going to do 10 pounds of pressure. Okay? So I'm going to slide this on. we are locked. Alright, so I have the stove on high. So we're gonna wait till this builds up and we start seeing steam out there. So when I start seeing a consistent flow of steam out of there, I'll bring you back so you can see just how that looks. I figured since my water is heating up, I would go ahead and do my power pressure cooker, only because I can fit 4 in there. So I have put in some water and I filled it up, and it's probably going to go to about right here to the bottom of the jar. It's basically just like a mini pressure cooker is what it is. So we're going to stick in 4 jars in here. Let me show you. And I have the water in there, but all we can fit in is 4. So what we're going to do now, narrow this down a little bit. Okay, so on our lid, it's 2 little things. There's an arrow right here. Now this is to release all the steam, and the circle back here is actually what we want it to be on, to where no steam comes out, to where it steams our jars, okay? So it's got all these little things on there, and it matches up with here. So just have to find out where it is and lock it into place. Make sure that our little piece in the back is set. Now what we're going to do to pressure can this is right here it says canning and preserving, and then it says time adjustment. So we're going to hold this down and we're going to go up to 40 minutes. We're going to let go and it'll start. It'll do this little thingy here. It'll do this. Now what this is going to do is this is going to heat up the water until it's at the right temperature, and then it will put a countdown. So when it puts a countdown, I will bring you back to show you what that looks like. Alright, so our water is almost ready, so I will fill these up. I went ahead because I'm going to do just regular beans, regular baked beans. So all I did was I did the same thing. I put a 1/2 cup of beans in here and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt in there. So the next thing that I'm going to add is some bacon in each jar. Spread it up there. Because who doesn't love bacon? I mean, you gotta have bacon in baked beans, right? At least that's what my husband tells me. And I just took 4 strips of bacon and cut them into 6 pieces since I have 6 jars. Okay, then what we're going to add is some brown sugar. I'm only going to use a 1/2 tablespoon. It doesn't have to be fully packed. I'm not packing it in there because I don't want it too sweet, but I want it to have a little bit of sweetness in there. Okay. And then we're just going to, that's it. All that we're going to do now is we're going to put some hot water in there. So the water is almost done, so when it gets done I'm just going to pour those in here and I'll bring you back before we put them into the pressure canner. Well, I went to in the other room and I came back and the time has started. So this is what it looks like. So it's just going to do a countdown and it's going to beep when it's done. And over here you can, if you listen, kind of makes a couple little noises there, but it's kicking up, so we'll be back when it starts to steaming. Okay, so I just let all of the air out, and sorry, I probably should have let you guys hear it, but it's steam's up all back here, but it's done. The timer's off. So we are going to turn it and unlock it. Now I always open it, and there is even a little spout right here on the tip. It's got a hole, but it lets out hot air too. And I always open it up back this way, only because there's still steam that's going to come out. But our jars are ready to come out. Now I have no idea what happened with my pressure canner, but I'm going to have to put everything in here because my pressure canner malfunctioned. But there is our chili beans. Yay! Alright, so I will probably have to do another video on my pressure canner because it is just not cooperating right. But here is how to use your power cooker if you guys have one. I really do like it if I have just a few cans to do. So I hope that you have liked this video. If you do, please give me that thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, well, go ahead and subscribe so that way you can check out my videos when they pop up. So y'all have a blessed day, and thanks for watching.